Hey guys, Maxx Stronk. Today we're going to talk a little about career agents and exploration. So I just finished up the last exploration mission for the career agent. You get some decent ships out of it, and look at the ISK that I've made from just doing a few of these things. From day one, this is going to be your easiest way to make ISK, get some new ships, get some equipment, and really get you started in EVE. It's also going to help you learn some of the basics of the game. So I would recommend all new players do the career agents. It's a great way to just start getting set up. So we're going to try to do a little exploration here. The Harem is the Caldari exploration ship. Each race has their own. They give you bonuses to scanning, makes it easier to scan down the anomalies and sites. So we're just going to set this up. Now, because I'm not rich on this account yet, I'm still poor, I'm going to do a really poor fit on this based on just the things that I have. And we'll see if we can make any ISK out of it, make it work. So let's see what kind of items I have. So in the missions, you were given a few items, like the probe launcher, some scanner probes, your different analyzers, which this will be a problem later on. Basically, the civilian analyzers don't work in the regular sites that I found out. So you definitely want propulsion mod. Micro warp drive is better, but we just have the afterburner here, so we're going to use that. I threw a mining laser and the salvager on just for the heck of it in case I ran across something, because remember, we're poor. Any ISK will help. You can fit drones in here, and so drones you're going to be your only DPS for it. They didn't have any in station that I was willing to pay for, so I decided to go without it. Because we're in the system where the career agents are located for me, this is just going to have mostly the training sites. So we're not really going to be able to do any serious exploration in this particular system. So you open up your probe scanner window, and this is, I typically do the pinpoint formation to start. So you launch your probes, and then you're going to hit analyze. And that's going to help you sort out what's out there. So those red X's are what you're trying to scan down and figure out what they are. In general, if you're a miner, if you just open your probe window, you can find these various ore sites, the anomalies, and you'll find better ore than you would in a regular asteroid belt. You can also find your ice belts that way. So you can zoom in here, try to figure it out. And you can see, a data training site popped up. And most of these are just the training sites. Now you pull on the little arrows to move your probe area around. The idea is to get the thing you're trying to scan down in the center of the little square box. You keep moving it, keep hitting analyze, it'll get better results. And you're going to have to adjust the size of your probe spread to get the really fine detail of it. I haven't done this in quite a while, so you'll see I struggle with it for a little bit here. So the probe size, you see that on the bottom next to the analyze button. That determines how big a spread your probes have. You click to the left to go smaller and drop it down. So here we are trying to move it around to get onto that red X. Those red circles mean that only 2 probes are hitting that particular site. So in this case, I probably want to go with a bigger spread to try to figure that particular red X out. You'll also get mirror images, and so you'll get 2 red dots with a line connecting them. Only one of them's the real thing. The other is like an echo. And you just, if you scan on one and you're not getting good results, switch to the other one and try analyzing that. And more than likely, you'll get the better results and you can narrow it down. So here you see I click and drop that scan size, the spread down. That'll give you much better results, and that's what you're going to have to do to get the final resolution to be able to get a warp to button on it. Let's see, what is this going to do? Generally, you just want to do that on the X's and not the dots. Or I mean, on the dots and not the X's for that low of a spread. The X, like I said, means you only probably have 2 probes that are spotting that, and so it's probably not really close to where that X is actually showing at the moment. And it's even, everything showing up is training. You can filter out certain things that you don't want to scan for. So the cosmic signatures are what we're trying to scan down. Well, like I told you, the civilian data analyzer didn't work, so we go back to the station and I buy a regular data and relic analyzer. And these are what you need to hack to get the loot out of the things that you find in these sites. This is kind of the new fit that I have for this. You'll notice I have a couple rigs that help with scanning resolution. I put a shield extender on there, damage control, and a micro auxiliary power core. It's a fair alpha fit. I mean, we're just screwing around here, so I'm not overly worried about it. The big thing is don't spend a lot of money on your ship if you don't have much. So this is the site. I bookmark it. We're just going to go back and try hacking this stuff now. You can use, and I'll show you with this cargo scanner, you can scan the cans and it'll let you know what's inside. So if a can is empty, you don't have to waste your time hacking it and getting nothing for it. You can also scan for the most valuable ones and just go after those. It's been a few years since I've really done a lot of exploration, so you'll see my hacking skills aren't very good. And this is the hacking kind of mini game. The numbers that are appearing tells you how many nodes away is something, but you don't know what that something is. Those data cores aren't the best thing to get to open right away because they can have, like in that particular case, bad things in them. So hold off on opening those until it's like your last resort. And the thing we're trying to find is the system core and hack that, and that'll allow us to open this can and take the loot. How you move around here is kind of up to you. This is a little repair tool. It's very useful. Those you want. Another one. So this looks good here. We got 2 repair tools and the system core. And I didn't use the repair tool and failed. I didn't have enough health left, which was a really new move on my part, not paying attention. But you'll see a couple more of those before we get through this video. So firewall blocks you, and the firewall causes damage to you, and you can only hack so many of those before your hack fails. So when you get in this scenario, I've got nowhere to go. I have to hack through one of these. I probably don't need to use the repair tool right away, but I do, and it helps you from taking damage. Blocked again. So this is a really bad situation here. Another one. We're looking terrible here. So we get through it, but you can see how low our health is. We get a repair tool, another firewall, and data cache. What do we get? Utility subs. There's another thing that helps you reduce the amount of damage you take. And what do we got here? Data cache. Oh, antivirus. This is not good. I used the wrong thing here, I think. Yeah, I should be using the repair tool. Failed. So now boat over to your next one. Yeah, and they explode when you fail the hack twice. You get 2 attempts on each little site. If you fail both of them, they explode. Here's your, let's see, am I going to use the cargo scanner here? Probably not going close enough. And this is kind of the same thing over and over and over again. It gets monotonous, to be honest, and that's why I don't do a ton of exploring. The payouts can be spectacular, and definitely, if you're going to stay in Highsec as a new player or an alpha clone, this is probably going to be your best ISK making by far. So yeah, we found the system core, and we didn't have enough health left to hack it. So I was hoping to find a repair tool, and no, fail. One more attempt. We'll see if we do better this time. In playing around with the alpha clone for a while, I think definitely the Highsec and actually going into some wormholes. The exploration is the best ISK per hour. It's interesting. Some people really love it. Some people, tolerate it for the ISK. Another great option for you starting out is after you do the career agent missions, just do some mission running. Most of them are pretty easy. You earn a little bit, not a lot, but it gets you started in the game and gets you going. And, low sec, I'm not a huge low sec fan. Another failure. Low sec, you'll do a lot better, in particular with exploration sites. Your mining's more profitable. There's definitely a lot more PvP, and if you're into PvP, low sec's a good place to start out. The reason I dislike it is gate guns and the security status issues. So I actually have alts that are just for low sec because the security status, it doesn't take long before you're -10. You're a criminal. You can't fly in Highsec without, everybody coming after you, everybody being able to kill you. So I have a few characters that are just dedicated to low sec because of that. Null sec, I think, is the most fun for me. It's by far the best place to make ISK. Everything you do there is more profitable than it is in Highsec, even more profitable than low sec. But there's, if you really have to belong to a bigger alliance to take the best advantage of it, being kind of a lone wolf out there is risky. You don't have anybody to rely on for support. You're limited to the systems that you could actually be in that have to have a NPC station in there. You wouldn't want to risk building your own station. I think that one had nothing in it, and I forgot to use the cargo scanner. But if you do belong to one of the bigger alliances and you're really interested in PvP, that's where you're going to get into the bigger fleet fights. Small gang roams, just gang roams, a lot of fleet stuff, and I find that really enjoyable. As an alpha clone, in those scenarios, if you go out with a salvager and salvage the ships, a lot of those ships are very valuable ships. You can make millions and millions of ISK in no time after a fight. If you loot them, you can make that much or more. The ore for mining is worth so much more. You probably get close to double the ISK you would in Highsec for a single load of ore. And your exploration sites, a lot of that stuff will connect you into wormholes and everything. It's definitely more dangerous. I don't think I would do exploration as my first choice in nullsec if I was an alpha, just because there's so many people out there trying to kill you, and wormholes are risky as well, and that's where the better loot is. One of the big things in wormholes is that NPC rats are very deadly, especially versus a T1 exploration frigate. So finally we get a system core here, and we are going to make it. We're going to finally get some loot out of this site. And, if I hadn't screwed up, this would have been a much better haul. But, we make a decent amount of ISK off of that for, not much work. It's Highsec, so you can't expect much. So we'll go back to where we're stationed in this system, and unload the loot. I don't like carrying a lot in my cargo hold, especially on an account where you don't have a lot of ISK. You can't really afford to lose it. So I will bookmark sites a lot and bug out, unload, come back. If this was like one of my normal accounts, I wouldn't even think about it, because it's such a small quantity. But for somebody just starting out, you want to preserve your ISK as much as possible. So 600 and some thousand ISK, not bad. It would have been a lot better if I hadn't screwed up on the other hacking attempts.